Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
How did you know that this is what you wanted to do as far as being a singer or entertainer?
It's always been in me. It's always been a part of who I am since a child. Since a child, I've always gotten karaoke boxes, and I've always learned this song and solos in school and all of those things. And I met my Reflections actually in high school, and we were singing and we were singing back then, choral music.
Douglas High School.
Yes, quack, come on through here. So
2 G's in a day pass.
Okay, 2 G's in a bus pass, baby. It used to be, of course. It was destined. I feel like it was destined. My whole family sings. Everyone in my circle sings. It's like I just couldn't get away from it. I'm always gonna sing.
Where did your personality come from? Are you always this crazy?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Right.
I woke up like this.
Okay.
And went to sleep like it too.
Literally.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live. On
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live on BeExposedRadio.com. In the building, we have live Mr. Michael Ryder. There we go. And Mr. Steve Yarn. They're doing a partnership based on what was it again? The stories of the Vulcan Blazers. An awesome production that they have coming up. And now the name of it will be called Baltimore Heat. There we go. They were telling us a little bit about, they're in the pre-production phase of developing this Baltimore-based production. It seems like a really awesome idea. I always love for more artistic events to come here, and because it's more of an event because you guys are going to actually use Baltimore as your complete backdrop of the city, and that's very awesome to hear.
Yeah, we want people to fall in love with this project through the visions and the tales we're going to tell about these firefighters, but also we want them to fall in love with the city of Baltimore. Just like they did with Miami Vice and Chicago Fire and NYPD Blue and
Sex in the City,
and all these other places that have the city as a star as much as the artists and the actors are.
And
that's
Baltimore
what our goal
has for many years have been the backdrops of many movies. I could think of a few Whoopi Goldberg movies, Sleepless in Seattle. A lot of these movies that have always used Baltimore as a scene. Not to mention The Wire and Homicide and countless other movies, House of Cards. All these movies and television shows that have always used it, but it was never really about Baltimore. They always included Baltimore in the story or the backdrops or certain historical scenery,
things they absolutely needed to say.
And,
but
and
never
House of Cards actually shoots in Baltimore. But they're saying that it's Washington, D.C.
Right.
Yeah.
So they're shooting here and not even giving us credit for the places we're here.
The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live. On
Thank you for tuning in to BeExposedRadio.com. Sit back, relax, and listen to this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show.
This is the reality
yes.
of the world that we're living in. A lot of young people don't have the information that is necessary to have healthy lives. And a lot of the organizations that are geared towards young people don't have individuals that are going to be as honest as this gentleman.
One of the issues that I have with this quote-unquote Christian nation that we live in is that
not just the Christians,
religion allows you to live in denial, but the world does not live in denial. So who are you helping with your... all right, I'm going to stop. I'm about to do something.
Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange Live.
The Artist Exchange. The Artist Exchange.
The Artist Exchange.
Starts now. Hey, what's up? Welcome to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. It's me, your host, Nate. My co-hosts are invisible at this moment. No one's here, but I'm here. My engineer's here, and he brought me a pie. Thank you, Eric. You're so kind. Well, first of all, I'll have to say congratulations to Be Exposed Radio. We are now 2017's Radio Show of the Year from the Baltimore Music Awards. Radio Fire. Shout out to Damonn K and to all of the Be Exposed Radio family for getting the message out there. All the people that voted, that supported us in doing so. But it was an awesome event. A few hiccups. I just have to say, and this is not shade, because I know everybody's on different levels, different speeds of who they are and what they do. Ouch. There were two women who came to this award show with security tags on. Well, one had an actual security tag on them, and the other lady had a tag on her nice coat. And it was so... And if I saw the first lady, the other lady, I would have told her it was nothing she could do, because that was a whole security tag. You can only take them off with scissors or with pliers and something else. But the other lady had a tag on it, and you got to tell people. And both of those people came with people, and nobody said, you know what, you got the tag on you. You still have that on you. You might want to take that off. But we are here. I am here. So today we're going to do a recap. It's not really a review, but more of a recap. I kind of listened to an interview done with Jay-Z, and it kind of inspired me to go through his album and listen to his album. And I know if people think this is a review, we're really late doing a review, but it's more of a what did you get, kind of an introspect of 444. Jay-Z's latest project. And it really, like, if you listen to the words, even if you're not a fan of Jay-Z, if you're a fan of words, he said some really interesting things, and we're going to go through and kind of dissect and give kind of our own perspective on it. My co-host should be here shortly, so we'll be doing that. But today, somebody's here? Who's here? Who? Damonn? Why ain't up? What, he scared? But so today I was out creating, and I was going from thrift shop to thrift shop, and I'm like in my creative mode and such. And I was out with one of my great friends, Missy Lane. And I call her Missy Lane because she's old enough to be my mom, and even though she's one of my really best friends, I have to call her Missy Lane. But we were out, and we got to talking, and she made me think of one of the dumbest moments I've ever had in my life. And it was so I was 18, and I had spent my whole life up until that point in private schools and Catholic schools, and I went to school year round my whole life, from elementary on to high school. The type of schools I went to, private and parochial schools, you normally have summer mandatory programs. I didn't have to go to summer school, but it was summer school. So my school was year round, so there's no such thing as summer school. It was year round school. And after that, I was tired of education. I didn't want to learn anything else. So straight out of high school, I was working already. I had a job. I was a manager at Popeyes by this time. And I was just tired of everything that I had already did.
So you say you went to school all year round?
Yeah.
So, like, how old was you when you graduated?
I graduated right before I turned 18.
All right.
So, yeah.
More about you, bro.
I mean, well,
it's
to me,
though.
Now I'm exhausted thinking about it, but when you're in it, you're tired, but you don't really, if you're used to it. Right. By the time I got to middle school, I was used to it. I was going to school by myself, and I already knew what it was, and it was just, get used to it.
See, I ain't go to school all year round, but it was 2 times I had to go to summer school, bruh, and I hated it. I was like, oh my goodness.
See, our school, when I got to high school, our school was one of the summer school spots for the city. And a lot of people, I could tell they did not want to be there. Well, you should have got good grades. You should have just paid attention in school.
True. Like, I remember I was going to Woodlawn during the day. I was going to Milford Mill at night. I think I was going to Towson on Saturdays. One day I had...
See, you had some issues.
I didn't have issues.
You had issues. Because if you was going to night school and Saturday school, it was something. What was you doing?
Nothing. They messed up my English credits, man.
They messed it up, or you messed it up?
I didn't mess it up. They messed it up.
I don't believe you, sir.
I can show you
Something don't ring true about that story to me, sir. It sounds like somebody was doing things in high school they wouldn't have no business doing.
No, real talk.
Okay. Well, I shared that story to say, sorry, I'm trying to share and talk at the same time. It's a little difficult. It's like walking and talking for me. But I'm telling her, so I was tired of the life that I was leading. I felt like an adult in a child's body. I really did. So I did a couple crazy things between the ages of 18 and 21. I went to Job Corps for no apparent reason. I just had no direction. But that was later on. And that actually got me to college.
Right.
Because that felt like a halfway house. And I was like, this feel like jail. So I'm going to go the exact opposite of this. And I actually was introduced to the opportunity to go to college. So I ended up going to college as a result of, I was in Job Corps for maybe 3 months. I didn't need to be there. I'm not saying anything about the people who need to be there, but I didn't need to be there because I ended up getting a job at Arundel Mills while I was working there. That's how I know I needed to be an adult. Just be an adult. You don't need to be here. You don't need these things to help you matriculate through life. And I felt like I went there and got a nursing certificate, a GNA certification, like in less than 3 months. Because I already had a high school diploma. I already had a license. It was nothing that they could give me other than a CPR certificate. And I was mentoring other students to help them pass their GED test. So I needed to be working there.
Right.
Really. I felt like I was in a halfway house.
That's like when I found out about military school. It's like, I think I was in
Yeah, that's what it felt like
11 for 12.
A junior military school.
I think I found out about military school in 12th grade. I was so upset.
You wanted to go?
Yeah, I really wanted to go to military school because like when I was small, I always wanted, like my uncle, he was in the military. So like, you know what, I'm gonna do the same thing. And then I started learning more about it. And then I found out about ROTC in high school. Like, this is what I want to do, you know. But everything changed.
But prior to getting to Job Corps, that was like 19, 20.
Right.
Well, actually like 20 because I started college when I was 21. And so after high school, I didn't know what I wanted anymore. I got myself fired from Popeyes. That was my first adult job. And the city paper used to be the place to find jobs. It used to be really thick. Now it's not even in existence anymore. So I found this job, and everybody has seen this job somewhere. It says, do you like rock and roll? Do you like music? Do you like to travel? You saw that written in the newspaper before.
I really didn't read the newspaper.
You didn't read the newspaper. That's why you did in summer school. But if you ever looked in the want section, it says, it was only in the newspaper, do you like rock and roll? Do you like music? Do you like to travel? And I called it, and they asked me how tall was I, what did I look like, how much I weighed. It sounded really strange. And I sent them the information. They sent me, okay, we want you. And they sent me confirmation. They said it felt like I was going to the military because they sent me a departure date, and they sent me a one-way ticket on Greyhound.
A one-way?
Now, yeah, it was one way. Now, that was 19-year-old Nate. So I wasn't as street smart as 34-year-old Nate is. So I never said, this sounds strange. Why I need a two-way ticket because you're not going to get me stuck nowhere. So now this story came is about me and my friend Missy Lane was talking, and I ended up sharing this story because she was looking at the documentary on a young man who used Craigslist to travel the country. He went from person to person. He met people on Craigslist, and he just crashed at their house, or they gave him a ride, or they gave him something to eat. And that's how he went all the way around the country and back, and actually ended his trip with meeting the guy who created Craigslist. Because that was kind of the point of Craigslist. It was supposed to be another Facebook. So people can meet and get a job and trade and all that. It wasn't supposed to be freaky and stealing and killing. It wasn't supposed to be all that. But so from that, she was like, could you ever do that? And me today, I could never live that life. But in the midst of me saying, no, that ain't me, I was like, no. At 19, I did that. I took a one-way ticket to Chicago. Now, if anybody remembers Greyhound, remember if you were going to a long distance, like here to like Chicago, you had to transfer like everything. There were no straight shots. So you had to transfer, and you got all these little tickets about that long, and they were all like attached. And every time you get off a bus and get on a bus, you had to give them one of the tickets. So if you missed a bus, or if your bus was late getting to the stop, and the next bus was left on time, you had to wait for the next bus. So that was a trickle-down effect for all of the bus. So what was supposed to take me like 15, 16 hours took me 29 hours.
Oh, no.
When I say I saw the dirtiest parts of these train stations, these bus stations, because you don't want to wash off in them because you feel cleaner not washing off than you would like taking a bird bath or something, and it was just nasty. So I get to the destination. I'm in Chicago, and this gentleman, I supposed to met this young man who I never saw a picture of this person, so it could have been anybody that could hit me on my head and put me in a van and put me in like a sex trade because I was a young, impressionable young person, really green. And I remember this little dude was standing across from the station, and I was late. They knew I was late. They knew I missed the bus because I kept in communication. And I stood there for half an hour, and it was, as people were leaving and meeting people, ended up being me and him standing outside late at night, like 11:30 at night. And he was like, are you Nathaniel? I said, I'm Nathan, but I'm not Nathaniel. And so we realized it was each other. And he's like, oh, you can go with me. But he didn't dress like this was a professional job. He dressed like he was out there getting that weight on the corner. And I was kind of like, okay, this is nerve-wracking. But I went with him, and we met at this motel. And I was in there with these other two young men and another guy. And that was our room. So I didn't meet everybody yet. So apparently there were other people there with us. And it was 2 beds. Now, I'm not bougie, but I saw 4 people and 2 beds. And I didn't know how this was going to work out. So I got in one of the beds, and the other person was trying to get in the bed. And I was like, this not going to work. Like, no. Like, this is I've been traveling for 29 days, 29 hours. Felt like 29 days. I'm not sharing a bed with anybody. So that was our first run-in. So I was labeled Bougie Nate on the first night. And then I went on, and the next day we woke up, and we had to get to this meeting, and it felt like a business meeting because everybody was bright-eyed. I saw people drinking coffee. It was like continental-esque breakfast because it was still a motel, but it felt real like, don't eat that. And I looked around the room, and I saw what I felt like was a bunch of runaways and a lot of, you know how that type of person that would take a job where it's a little shady, but they're really professional at the same time, like that type of person. And I saw them, and then I saw some white people, and I saw some children who looked like they didn't have anybody who loved them. And I felt so out of place. And then I learned, I had to sit down with the man. He told me what it was. Come to find out, we were selling magazine subscriptions. So that was, so I'm going to tell more, but we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin' Street? Girlin' Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Definitely not taking responsibility for other people's emotions and things that's going on, and owning up to who you are. I know that's what you were finishing on, so you can speak more on that, sister.
Yeah, just making sure, because at the end of the day, what happens to us, especially women, we're nurturers. So by life, we tend to want to, I call men projects, like fix-me-uppers, people that come with issues. And for some reason, people, we all have issues, but people who, want you to help them through their issues, So we take on projects because we get to the point to where we're like, okay, I just want to have somebody, as opposed to the quality of the person that you're getting. And then we start to own all of their issues, and we start to feel bad because things are not progressing the way that we want it to, and that's not fair to us. So we can't own somebody else's stuff. If somebody's not ready when you meet them, that's not your fault. That's theirs. It's their loss. You see what I'm saying?
Hey, what's up? It's the man you all know and love, E. Digger, the host of the Charm City Direct Radio Show. Make sure you catch me and my crew every Saturday from 5 to 7 p.m. only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin' Street? Girlin' Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Hey everybody, check out what you missed on the one and only Be Inspired radio show. So since we're talking about the book, can you give people a synopsis of what the book is and what's the name of the book again, and then what it's about?
The name of the book is From Trial to Afflictions. More than one, because there were more than one afflictions.
Yes.
The book is talking about, actually, it's my life story. And I have to add in there that when that prophet told me, he said, tell your story, write the story. He said, and God said, tell your addiction. Now, see, I'm not going to tell the addiction because you have to get the book to read it.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Hey, what's up, and welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. So I was telling a story. We were watching, my friend Missy Lane, she was telling me about the documentary on a young man who used Craigslist to get around the country. So he met people, he got rides, he slept on people's floors, on their couches, all that type of thing. And he used just Craigslist Craigslist. All he had was his backpack, his cell phone, his laptop. That's all he had. He didn't go with any money. He didn't go with anything. So he lived off of the kindness of others. And I forgot how long it took. I think it took him 30 days. And he got around the country. So he left from California and he went around and he ended back up in California. And he made it. And in my mind, 30-something-year-old Nathan, oh, hell no, that ain't going to work for me. And I recalled the story of me going to Chicago to sell magazine subscriptions. Now, I didn't know that's what I was going to do. I saw an ad that says, do you like music? Do you like rock and roll? Do you like traveling? And I said, yes, no, yes. And 2 out of 3 ain't bad. And I got a one-way ticket to Chicago and ended up being in a cult. Oh. And it wasn't a real cult, but it was the closest thing to a cult. We were selling magazine subscriptions illegally from door to door. They would drop us off in places like White Marsh, like will be comparable to our White Marsh, where it was just like cul-de-sacs and, you know, white people. And shout out to the white people. I'm not shady, but that's just what it was. And that's what it was like. Home developments, a lot of cul-de-sacs, apartments, you know, like many, like Sedonia, like it's just apartment villages, places like that. And we were supposed to sell magazine subscriptions. Now, if you got credit cards, you got less money back. You split less money versus if you got cash, you got more money. So for the first 2 weeks, you are basically shadowing. For the first week, you're shadowing somebody. Like literally, you don't sell magazine subscriptions. The second week, you're shadowing somebody, but you have to start trying to sell it.
Is this commission based?
Yeah, it was commission based, and we all stayed together in hotel rooms.
So for a week, you couldn't make money?
No, you still no. So what happened for the first 2 weeks? They paid you like a daily allowance. So because I had people that loved me, I had money in my pocket. I had also had a real job for the last 3 years, so I had money in my pocket. And I didn't come there like running away like some of these students' children did. But this is the craziest thing ever because I've pushed it so far back in my memory, but I remember being there and it was like on a daily basis. I remember the first day I was there, we all went to Hard Rock Cafe, and I remember a lot of people eating trays of fries together, like sharing trays of fries, sharing a burger, because some people didn't make their quota for the day.
Oh, wow. They like changed their mind. Like now they gotta find their own way back.
Well, this is the thing. So you have to stay there for 30 days in order for them to give you a ticket back home. But if you're there over the 30 out days, in the world like this, what the hell? No, this was when I was 19, 20. This was like 19, 20 when this happened. My gosh. So you had to be there for 30 days in order for them. This is why children disappear. You like, where are they? This is crazy. I've never heard of anything like this. Now, in certain cities, it's illegal to solicit anything door to door. In certain cities, in certain states, it's illegal. Well, we were in a city that it was illegal to do so. And one of the young men, like people wanted to buy my shoes because I came there with clothes. I came there with hygiene supplies, and they all were like scrimping and scrounging. Like when I said I bought a whole meal at Hard Rock Cafe, and people were looking at me as if I've never felt more looked at before.
Hey, bro, what you doing, man?
Right, and they were sharing like right, and that was the attitude. They thought I was somebody who worked for the company. They didn't think I was somebody that was just there doing what they were doing, and it was really strange because
it's like something my brother was doing. It happened to my brother too.
We probably was at the same place. I probably was the person that got him back home because so this was really weird to me. So after a couple days, I was like, yeah, this not for me. This door-to-door thing, I ain't with this. I don't care about magazine subscriptions because most people like get off my lawn, nigger, like stuff like that. That's what you would hear on a daily basis. And some people were good at it. Now, the weird part for me that made me equate this to a cult was in the morning time, they had this whole routine to pump you up, to get you like revved up. And it was this whole thing where they had like I don't even remember because I pushed that far back in my mind too. But it was this whole like spew, like your pitch that you had to give. It was like from a script, and they had like hand signs, and just to get in, it was like little stuff like that. It was real sexual, but it was real occultish all at the same time. I felt like that episode of Martin when he was in that cult, and I felt myself like being in this place of like, get out of here, get out of here. So I after a couple days, I had a cell phone, everything, and these people, I never told anybody I had a cell phone because I felt like at any moment I was about to be robbed, because I realized how hungry a lot of these people were after hearing some of their stories. Some of them had been molested, and they were like kicked out of their house or ran away from home, and stumbled upon this, meeting these people in the company's travels, and the company would just take them on and bring them with them. And so I get to this place, like, so the first week is coming to an end, and they're telling me I have one more week to do this. So by the end of the next week, I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna get out of here. Now, in my mind, I'm stuck. In my mind, I feel like I'm in something that I can't get out. Right. So I devised this scheme to get out. And it took me about 3 days into the second week to really, like, do it. And so by the fourth day of the second week, I had used my cell phone. Well, mind you, I called my mother. I just did my taxes, and I knew the check should have been at the house. So I told my mother to go to my house, take the check, deposit it, Western Union me like a couple dollars. That's my strategy. That's as far as my street smarts went. I'm just being honest. So she told me she sent the money, so I was like, okay, today is the day. So that morning, I let everybody go downstairs and eat their continental breakfast. I used my cell phone to call the hotel. Now, this is the part where it gets shameful. Now, and my dad died when I was young, and he wasn't the best dad, so I figured he owed me one. So I called the hotel, and I told them that Nathan Couser, he has death in his family. His father passed away, and we need to get in contact with him. We can't reach him. He's not answering his phone. We need to get in contact with him. And this was the last place that he let us know he was. So I go down to the meeting, like everything is normal. Right, and the lady, right. I was always the actor. That's just who I was. And the lady pulled me to the side, and she gave me the bad news, and I kind of broke down and all that. And I said, oh, I got to go. So I went upstairs, and all my stuff was already packed. That's the crazy part. That's the part that should have dawned on them. How did he get ready so fast? So I came down, I canned my stuff, and when they were about to be dropped off, they dropped me off at the place. Now, apparently this had went around amongst everybody. It was probably like 30 of us there, and a lot of them were runaways. I'm just being complete. So if you're looking for your cousin, he probably somewhere selling magazine subscriptions. I'm just saying. He back.
Yeah, he back. He made it back.
Right. See, he had a couple dollars in his hand. Yeah. So they dropped me off at the station, but another guy also got out. So I guess he saw me. I think he felt, well, in talking to him, he felt right. He felt like he was trapped. He was like, nobody has ever come there and left. Like, they kicked people out because they were like sexually harassing people, stuff like that. But he said nobody ever came there and just decided to leave. He said because nobody felt like they could just leave. So he was like, this was my chance. I saw you leaving, so I was like, I want to go. And he had been there for 2 months, and I had been there for a little less than a...
And he has been train station in 2 months?
Yeah, but he was just traveling around. Right. So if you don't sell any magazines that day, one, you can't sleep in a bed if you didn't sell magazine subscriptions. And when they come to the pickup spot, you can't be sitting down. So those were the rules. Once your 2 weeks were over, you could not sleep in a bed. You did not get any You did not get paid. That's crazy. You could not be standing up when they came and got you. So it was serious. So it was people in there that were really hungry. That was not, they may sell one subscription or. It was not bedrooms. It would be hotels. So it would only be like 4 people to a room. It wasn't like crowded. So the company would pay for that. And then it, like the continental breakfast, like that was what people ate off of. So it was a lot of people like taking food, stashing it, like taking some back up to the room, taking it, and that's what the lunch was going to be. Like, it was hard for people. And I was sitting there like, we had went to, like, it was, like, so every day after we get back, you can go to the market. They go to like a shopping center where they have everything there, and you could go to the laundromat, to the food, and people would not want to go. I was the only one going to the laundromat, washing my clothes, like able to go eat at the end, and it was strange.
I was ducked off while everybody was asleep.
But I ended up, so he came, and the question to me was, so you good? So he lived in Philly. I'll never forget, he lived in Philly. I still keep in contact with this person. He lived in Philly. He did not have any money to get back home. So I had to pay for him to get back home. But he just did not see a way for him to go. Like, he ended up getting to Chicago because he was going there with a friend, and it didn't work out, and she put him out, and he didn't want to call anybody. He didn't have any family that could send him money, so he was just homeless in Chicago, and that's how he got to this organization. He found them. They said, "I'll give you a job," and that's how he thought he was going to make it in Chicago. Well, that's how I ended up getting back home, and it was crazy. I just remember the whole ride home. I was like, you are so dumb. Like, don't you ever do nothing like that again. But
I got a question. You sell any magazines though?
No, I never sold a magazine. Okay. I got a bunch of niggas, go home, get off my lawn, and that wasn't for me. I wouldn't even go to the houses. I would just stay at the drop-off center. I would be on my phone. I would probably find a McDonald's and just come back to the meetup spot. But we're going to get into the 444 when we come back, so don't go anywhere. The Artist Exchange Radio Show, only on the #1 station in the country, BigExposedRadio.com.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin' Street? Girlin' Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at StopTextStopWrecks.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Hey, what's up, y'all? Another Friday. Sorry, still playing with my life. It is what it is, radio.
We was having a little technical difficulties, but we back.
We good.
Got it going on. How was y'all week's end before we start this?
No, we gotta give your brother a moment of silence.
Oh yeah, most definitely. But hold up. I gotta say rest in peace to my man Bucket, Notaris Whitaker, and another good friend of mine. I lost him on Sunday also, Keontae Lyons, former student of mine, Calverton Middle School. And like I said, today is King Porter Forever Friday. Moment of silence for my brother Jamel Raymond Bishop, also known as King Porter. Thank you very much. So we're here.
Yes, another Friday.
We got Diva joining us.
I got chicken dip. Oh, God, she done brought us some food. Yes, I'm hungry. That's right on time.
Y'all hungry? We got a world-renowned chef in the building. He'll be joining us shortly. Chef Vaughn.
Yes. How was your week?
Other than them deaths, I had a fast week. A lot of thinking, a lot of self-evaluation. Do a lot of things. Well, there's a lot of things I'm doing that I can be doing better at. So that's what it's about, improving myself. So
definitely, I feel the same way.
What about you? How was yours?
It was cool. I'm hungry though. I mean, I literally just got off a plane coming from Los Angeles. So you know that's a long flight.
Whole time I needed to be in the bed. Pink got to stay up my phone.
See, look, you don't never answer the phone. So if I call you and be like, "Yo, pack your shit, we going to LA," she won't even answer to get the damn pass. To get the passport. You feel me?
Get a half a ring, and he gonna end it so he can keep playing video games.
You don't never answer the phone. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, so he real petty. That's how I missed that girl this morning.
Oh goodness.
Whole client out the window. Why? Stop play games on your phone. But the tablet already. But my week was cool. My week was cool. I got another kid to homeschool while I'm teaching little son. Okay. But other than that,
mommy duties.
Nothing exciting. Nothing exciting. Personal development. Branding.
Ain't nothing
right waiting on love.
You always playing the lottery.
I'm gonna hit it tonight. I'm telling you, speaking into existence.
Well, we all know this is not just Baltimore watching this show, but we are based in Baltimore.
Exactly.
So life is bigger than Baltimore for all the Baltimore listeners, and life is bigger than just New Orleans. Just Atlanta.
Yeah.
Just LA.
It's a whole lot of life out here. You gotta get out your city. You gotta get out your shell.
Exactly. So that's just going into our topic for today.
But listen, you'd be surprised. There's a lot of people here that, let alone out of Baltimore, that don't know nothing other than their side of town.
They never
left. I know.
Never left.
Never left. Exactly. I know.
That's crazy. That's too much to see out here.
But we need y'all to move. Like, go somewhere. Not move if you don't want to move. We talking about just move. Get out your area.
Right. Don't move, but just understand, like, it's a great big world out here. It's a lot of people out here. And there's so much that you missing just by being stagnant or being afraid. Like,
right. I feel like when you stay in the same area, you make them get some closed-minded too.
It stunts your growth.
Very closed-minded.
Right. Get out, y'all. Look up them plane websites. Flights going for cheap, man. Cheap.
And how can you possibly better your life if you're not getting out there and meeting people, networking?
Some people don't have that gift though.
Like, everybody you grew up with ain't going to take you to that next level.
First of all,
where you need to go.
95% of the people that you grew up with not going to take you to the next level. And a lot of the ones that you grew up with, if you're not showing them that you trying to grow, when they trying to grow, they going to leave you. Yeah. They going to leave you, and that just is what it is. So, I mean, you can't always expect a handout. Sometimes you got to go get it yourself, and they going to reach out for you, and they going to reach back for you, and they going to say you coming or not. And if you're not ready to go, when the train start moving, you get left.
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta be the train. You gotta be the ones to tell your friends to get on board. Let's go. Let's do this. Right. Vacation, business, whatever. Like, it's a lot of world out here. It's a lot of people to meet and a lot of things to do. We gotta get out here and do this.
Yes, we definitely do. You just never know who you gonna run into. You just never know what might change your life.
Yeah.
You just never know.
Some of y'all might meet y'all kings and y'all queens out of town.
Exactly. Exactly. You just never know.
Just try it, y'all. Somebody must have had fun in Cali, huh?
Hold on.
She had fun in Cali, y'all. That's what's up.
No.
Came back to real winter time.
What happened?
Came back to real winter time.
I'm just saying, we need to just get out and explore the world. Look, my next trip gonna be back to New Orleans. Which one of y'all going with me?
Everybody.
Or both of y'all going?
Everybody going. It is what it is radio. You just gotta give me
Yo, because we need to take over these cities. We need to let people know we out here.
Yeah, and separate ourselves from the rest.
Exactly.
So,
because it's an investment into ourselves.
Pretty and talk trash.
Yeah,
to everybody.
And when we go to New Orleans, we gotta go to the D shop. That's over east. It be jumping. Let me tell you, it be jumping at the D spot.
The D spot.
It be packed. All in the inside and in the parking lot.
You was just lit your whole trip.
Girl, when I went to New Orleans,
I was straight home momming.
I'm always momming, but I needed that. That's why I keep telling you, we need that.
We just talked about this.
I don't think nobody know about this trip though. You usually do be like, I'm going this place.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show here live only on BeExposedRadio.com. I am your host, Nate Couser. My whole government, because that's what I want you to send my checks under. And I have my co-host, Miss Sweet Baby.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday.
She's the old lady today.
The old young lady today. I turned 26 this past Wednesday. Oh, and I really turned 35. I'm proud to look the way that I look. Everybody thinks that I'm 10 years younger, but...
Oh, excuse me.
And my shirt, my son made me. I'm not messing with this thing today. Am I on the camera?
Yeah, you got show it.
So, yeah, Spaz, little Spaz. He has, this is his brand, that's his rap name, and he's making merchandise. So I'm representing Lil Spaz today. And also, real quick, before we get on the subject of 444, Jay-Z's latest album, there is, and I'll be hosting a debate tonight at 823 East Baltimore Street at the Mini Hip Hop Museum / the Sand Gallery. Nas versus Jay-Z tonight. Come and debate, answer trivia questions. You know, there's also a food vendor there, 420 food vendor. Come out, have fun. That's $10 to get in.
Is it a prize?
There will be a prize. There will be prizes to win. So come out.
I'll donate 2 tickets to a special place.
For
my contribution.
Well, I appreciate it. But yes, that's tonight. I'll be hosting that as soon as I leave here. So come out, have fun.
Also, we have Damonn, Hollywood. Something.
How y'all doing out there?
Mm-hmm.
That bad.
No, you kind of off. I think y'all switch seats, so y'all kind of off today.
Yeah, I don't know. The stuff falling on me, my chair about this is not my vibe over here. The space giving me some grief tonight.
Y'all ain't each other's seats, so that's probably what it was. Y'all a little off.
Yeah.
But it's cool. We work it out. And then we have Miss Love Dawn of Sunset Soul Radio Show. She's joined us today. She was bored. She had some time to waste. So
I watch the show religiously and share religiously. So I said,
excuse me.
Go in today and see what's going on.
She's slumming it. She feel like she's slumming it today. And then we have Eric, our Friday engineer. Moment of silence. Eric is not to be played with. He is a special individual. He does a great job. He's hardworking. And he's the reason why we're one of the best radio shows in the city. You heard me say show. And then best station second. Sorry. I just wanted y'all to catch that. But today's show is dedicated, and it's not a review. Because I don't care about anybody's opinion. So there are tons of other reviews of this album. And for me, it just... What I got from this album, of 444, I've listened to the interview. We're going to listen to a part of this for this segment, and then we'll go right into the conversation. But my point of view from this album, and mostly because I learned more about him through the interview that he had than I did the actual album. But they kind of go hand in hand. You got to listen to one, and you'll get a lot. But I think what Jay-Z was able to do with this album is what Bill Cosby should have done. And I feel like Jay-Z is speaking to his generation.
I agree. I actually have said that about
So if Bill Cosby would have spoke to the 50 to 70 to 80-something-year-olds that did not do what they were supposed to do, and maybe the reason why a lot of young men are walking around with their pants below their booties, if he would have spoken to that generation about what is wrong with this community, a lot of young people would not have taken what he said, Bill Cosby, speaking of Bill Cosby, so personal. And he was out of place to speak to a generation that he was not a part of. And I think Jay-Z is speaking to that 35 to 50-year-old range of people, out aunts and uncles, basically.
All right.
I mean, I'm 34, so I'm just saying. But, I mean, I span it because there are people our age that have followed him because of Biggie and that whole
Right.
So we're kind of on the tail end of it. But this is a generation that he's speaking to.
Mm-hmm.
And it did not feel as though he was, like, kind of pointing fingers or, like, going hard on us.
So I guess some people took offense to it, though, you know?
Some people did, and I didn't understand why the offense was taken, because this is one of my favorite albums. I love Jay-Z. Jay-Z is my absolute favorite rapper. Team Hove tonight at the debate, but he's my absolute favorite rapper. And when it came out, like, people were comparing it to Damn, the Kendrick Lamar album, and I said they can't be compared to. I said the Damn album is like the cookout with your cousins, you with all your cousins, you outside smoking, you on the front porch, you having a good time, y'all might be playing spades or shooting dice. And then Jay-Z's album is like you with your uncle, and he made it, he got money, and he taking you out on the beach, and he gonna light a cigar, and he gonna let you know what's what.
Right. So we're gonna take a quick break because it's about to get a little more testy. So we about to get, because I already feel she already fired up. But we're going to be right back. I'm going away. The Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BigExposedRadio.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Check out what you missed on Be Exposed Radio.
Listen to Elizabeth Warren talking about Black lives and Black life.
Police are not occupying armies. This is America, not a war zone. I speak today with full knowledge that I have not personally experienced and can never truly understand the fear, the oppression, and the pain that confronts African Americans every day.
Don't you just want to kill yourself? I mean, not from what she was saying, but from the music that was playing in the background. I just want to, oh gosh, but every word she said was prolific, and it did not come from what is now becoming mainstream as white privilege. She has a sensibility about her, and the way she speaks about different things that has, from the first time I saw her, I can't remember what state she's in. I think she's in like North Carolina or something like that, somewhere I'm not going. That some kind of sensibility about her that makes me like her for president. But she's not running. We have this old guy that looks like he should be on the popcorn box. Then we have Martin O'Malley. Fine. We'll settle if we must. Hillary, who I like, but she just has to fight against all this controversy, and that's the hard part of it all. Then we have Huckabee. I could have swore he died, like in one of those books, like a fairy tale book. Trump, we're going to get to you in a moment, meet with all these black folk in one room, and they just fell for it. Like, he must have been giving out $100.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Music some too. I thought the song Talking to OJ was particularly powerful. I took the message as you can be rich, you can be poor, you're still black. Who were you speaking to? Who did you want to listen to that and be moved by it?
It's a nuanced song, you know. It's like I'm specifically speaking to us and about who we are and how do you maintain the sense of self while pushing it forward and holding us to have a responsibility for our actions. Because in America, it is what it is. And there's a solution for us. If we had a power base together, it would be a much different conversation than me having a conversation by myself, trying to change America by myself. If I come with 40 million people, it's a different conversation, right? It's just how it works. I can affect change and get whomever in office because this many people, we're all on the same page, right? So it's a conversation. It's like, I'm not rich, I'm OJ. For us to get in that space and then disconnect from the culture, that's how it starts. This is what happens, and then you know.
Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up? We back here on the Artist Exchange. That was an article, the New York Times interview for Jay-Z, with Jay-Z, on his album 444, Race Politics, ... But before we was going, we were I was kind of giving mine, and Sweet Baby got to give her insight on what the album was. And just for me, it was more so the conversation to Jay-Z's generation that Bill Cosby should have had to his generation, opposed to speaking to people who are outside of what you know or you're directly connected to. Sweet Baby connected it with though the comparison between other people. People were trying to compare him to Kendrick Lamar, or who else was out at that time? Lemonade.
Oh yeah, they got compared to Lemonade, of course.
That was getting compared because it was her story versus his story. That he said, she said, right situation. I don't think it was as far as the artistry.
But this New York Times article, this interview that he did, it tells you that it is the response to her saying that. Okay. So he confirms a lot of what everybody else was speculating. Damonn. Now, Damonn is the person that's not a fan of Jay-Z. Should I say that?
Oh, like
I had to expose you because we got a...
So we got a fanatic. That's why these seats, so you over there in my space, and you giving this Jay-Z hatred vibe that I ain't appreciating.
Like, I love his artistry. I love how he does things, you know, how he operates business-wise, you know. I'm just saying, I mean, I love some of his music, but I'm not like,
Okay, so yeah, that's what the problem is. I'm a super fan.
I mean,
I had to force him to actually listen to the album. I had to send him the songs because he wouldn't have listened to them. But overall, what did you get from him?
Overall, I believe like how I interpret it is.
It's a mic.
How I interpret it was like he's just pretty much sending a message. Like one of his songs, the OJ story. But I feel
that's the one he listened to.
Yeah, that's the one I listened to.
Okay.
I thought that was a cartoon.
Right.
No, it wasn't any. No. But no, I feel as though that he was just pretty much sending a message for how it is. Like you just gotta pretty much like invest in what you do. Like you see something like he got like he said as far as him feeling like Dumbo, and he should have invested in. It was at the picture.
Mm-hmm. He read the Couser.
He could have invested in picture, but he didn't.
If you will be out there, at least do something with it. Don't just buy the ball 50s every month. That's a hole or the tennis shoes.
The hole or the tennis shoes.
Because that's the ball 50 hole or the ball 50 tennis shoes, and that's what they're spending their money on.
Pretty much, like you said.
Yes, I mean it happens. Love Dawn.
What do I think about the overall CD?
Overall.
Well, I love the CD. I mean, I've always loved Jay-Z. I can't say I have a thing with well, the mic is kind of to the left of me. Thank you. That's not my job. But I don't know. I'm just saying. I don't want to touch it because I'm scared. Now I was getting ready to touch it when it broke. Okay, but anyway, I don't like comparing artists but I'm just a lover of music, and I will play Jay-Z's album all week. Mm-hmm. And then, like you say, Kendrick will come out with an album, then I'll play his the next week. So there will never be an answer for who is better than the other for me, because that just depends on what I'm feeling at the moment. I might go all the way back and be like, no, I'm sorry, Tupac is still, that's going to change based on, the conversation or how I feel. But this particular CD for me, just showed his maturity in comparison to everything else. Every CD that he did, he kind of talked about progress in whatever level he was in. If he was selling drugs, if he was doing that, it was about making the most money he can make. Right. If it was about thug life, it was about who gonna be the top thug. You still out here in a knife fight and I got guns. But regardless of what phase of life he was in, he's talking about being the best at whatever he is in the moment. Right. And I think this CD was his way of saying that doesn't change in my home. I need to be the best husband that I can be, and I see that that's not what I was doing. So now I gotta get myself together and give my same energy that I put into selling, that same energy I put into that thug life, the same energy I put into building these businesses. I have to do that because my marriage and my home and my family is my business now. And I think that this CD was kind of his way of saying, this is just as cool as that. So the second hour, we're going to get into kind of like song by song and kind of like go through what we feel or what we think. I'm going to share the link to his album on our page, and you can go to the album and go song by song with us, or if you have one of the streaming outlets, you can go. I don't know if it's limited streaming outlets, but I know it's on Tidal and YouTube and so on and so forth. But then we get into that. But I'll go back to my initial thought, and me listening to it. Initially, when it first came out, I was like, you was a drug dealer. How you gonna tell me how to be? But that was me. I don't relate to him. So he's not talking to me in terms of like what's going wrong. But kind of like the money management, that's where I kind of honed in to it. Right. But he's not talking to me about flipping or washing no money. Well, it's the same thing though. I mean, it's just the means to get the funds was different. But that language, that verbiage, that doesn't speak to me. Okay. Because that's a person that I don't look up to. That's not a person that I necessarily respect. Because that I saw the detriment of that. But in my opinion, initially, it was more so you're telling people that lifestyle is okay. But he's not speaking to the person that is starting out now. He's speaking to the person that's where he is. That's probably still doing it. Or where he was, and they're still doing that. Or the person who may be 30, 40, 50 years old now and don't know nothing but to sell a nickel bag or whatever the drug of choice is now. Don't sell a nickel bag. That's the problem. That's all I know. That's who he's talking to. That's the individual that he's talking to. Like you're trying to get the latest whatever. You're trying to floss in a club, but you should be trying to buy something. Buy a Bitcoin. Is that what it's called? Bitcoin. Like buy one of them right now. Don't spend your money on tennis shoes or doing Miami trips. Like that's what I initially got, especially for the first couple songs. That's what I got from it. And that was kind of sprinkled throughout all this. If you want to do dirt, make sure your dirt is clean at some point. Like shift that dirt as you're doing dirt. Right. Like if it's a hustle, right, and it's something that I was told. A hustle is temporary. A hustle is not a lifelong choice. Like you're not supposed to be out there all this time doing the same thing, and then 10 years later, this person has gotten to this level, and you're still at this point. Like you're comfortable at that point. Get uncomfortable. So we're gonna take another quick break, and we'll be right back here with the 444 recap live only on the Artist Exchange Radio Show on Hot BXR.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Green light. Hey girl, school zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin' Street? Girlin' Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Only in the forest can you see this. But nothing beats the moment you see that.
Cool!
That's your child's eyes opening up to a world of possibilities.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org. Learn about forests near you and discover cool things to do when you go. And you might just see this. Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Last time on Talk Lately.
Government. I don't understand why. Look, me, and I haven't said anything either, but this is my moment. You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com, the home of Talk Lately with Monty, every Tuesday at 7 p.m.
Yeah, this the man that holds it down. Mr. Showtime, D the Boss. Check us out every Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on BeExposedRadio.com. I'm in a relationship. Mm-hmm. My girl happens to be long distance. Mm-hmm. So with that being said,
I beat my thing like it owes me money.
Sorry.
Because I asked that because so many people are not comfortable.
We're rewarding you for something you already do, listening to us. It's Radio Loyalty, and it's an easy way for you to get free stuff. All you do is sign up. Go ahead and click the banner now. You'll earn points as you listen. Points you can trade in for great products and services in the Radio Loyalty store. You can earn even more points when you share your favorite station with friends on Facebook and Twitter. Radio Loyalty. It's free to sign up, so click the banner to join.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
The thing not playing.
That's why
that's the line.
Yeah, the pregnant pause. It's like, okay.
Was it a reminder too that the thing OJ forgot? Maybe is that as rich as he was, as entitled as his life was, he was reminded very forcefully when he became a subject of a racial debate that he was also a black man, whether he accepted that or not.
That's right.
Is it also that message?
Yes, absolutely. And for us, like I'm saying, to speak to that point is, don't forget that, because that's really not the goal. The goal is not to be successful and famous. That's not the goal. The goal is, if you have a specific God-given ability, is to live your life out through that.
Right.
One. And two, we have a responsibility to push the conversation forward until we're all equal. Until we're all equal in this place, because until everyone's free, no one's free. And that's just the fact.
When you are as amazingly successful as you are, your kids will live in a very different world from the world you grew up in. How do you go about making sure that they understand the world you grew up in?
There's a delicate balance to that, right? Because you have to educate your children on the world as it exists today and how it got to that space. But my child...
That's just my opinion. Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. What we're not going to do is talk about Beyonce and Jay-Z's relationship, because...
they're the king and queen of the United States of America.
How do you talk about that relationship? And that's what the whole...
No,
that's
because...
what the main point, one of the main points of the CD is him admitting that he stepped out on his wife.
But for me, but that's kind of like the end of this.
Okay.
I focused on like who he was going into that, like why that would happen, like why would you find yourself at a point where the hottest performer in this world you would step out on. So I don't.
Why he found himself being Eric Benet, as he
right.
said.
And the comparison between him and Kendrick Lamar for me is hot and cold. They both. It's two different perspectives of life in the hood. Right. Like they're real family units, and he had a family unit. And then there was a dysfunctional family union, and I think that's
the age. Aren't they like Kendrick is pretty young, isn't he? I don't know how old he is.
I think he's about 30. I don't think he's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so in comparison
Jay-Z's
to him and Jay-Z, that's even in the street,
right?
That's two totally different worlds.
Right. Well,
even in the same lifestyle, it's still two.
Well, I think that's the problem with us. We try to compare individuals and kind of pit them against each other.
That's that whole thing,
art.
like.
Right. We did a show, Your Hood Ain't My Hood. The same thing. It doesn't matter. Right. Even now, Park ain't saying East Baltimore. East Side ain't West Side. West Side ain't Cherry Hill. And we all in Baltimore.
It's really no difference, but from the perspective that the person is looking at, that's the only thing. That's the only difference it is. So we all can make it based on the same criteria, or we all could just be bums in the street. And or you could be a Kendrick Lamar or Jay-Z. But for me, this album, like individually, the album kinda it was good storytelling to me. I like theater, so it really painted a vivid picture of somebody that was broken. Now, what I really feel is I hope that he's able to he's really living in this healing and not, just making money off of it.
And just talking about it.
Right.
Just pretty much getting for ratings.
But the interview that we've been playing as we come into each segment is from the New York Times interview that he did on himself and the album and everything, race, politics, all that. And he went into explaining why each song was what it was. The one song for me, I like Family Feud, but I appreciate like Legacy and kind of the first 3 tracks on the the album. Kill Jay-Z, The Story of OJ. The Story of OJ is one of my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. But this is, I had to say, because I had to go back and listen to it again because I haven't listened to it in quite some time. Family Feud was one of my favorites based on the melody, based on the beat of the song.
Mm-hmm.
But when you listen to it, I think it holds a lot of merit and information about unity and again family.
Mm-hmm.
What's better than 1 millionaire too? That line stands out a lot because nobody want to help somebody else get on.
It's not even the fact of nobody wanting to help. Nobody wants to see each other make it.
Pretty much.
We talked about this a couple times, but the idea of people being really mad at who these people represent. So once you get to a level of a Jay-Z or Beyonce or Michael Jordan, like we all grew up, whether you like basketball or not, you loved Michael Jordan. To a point where people burning his shoes, they hate him. Like in the other extreme, people stand in line for hours and days to get his shoes.
What's crazy is the people that burn his shoes go buy his shoes to burn the shoes.
So he don't care what you do with them after you purchase them.
But and speaking to our culture, that's the problem that I'm seeing that I have. Like we like to see the rise, but we love to watch the fall, and we are part of both of them. And the interview that I got from him, it was a statement that he made in it, and I kind of, the advertisement, if you heard the advertisement for the show, you heard that snippet of it. It's the bully mentality. People who hate you, or this idea of us being aggressive towards each other, it's because I can see you. Or you feel as though I can see what your insecurity is, whether it be economics or race or homophobia or whatever it is. I see you, and I can see you, or you think I can see you, because often we don't even really see that when we look at people, but you feel like somebody looking deeper inside of you, and it's that aggressiveness. And that's the point of it. Like, oh, you think I can see you,
right?
You think I can see, and he was speaking to that aggressiveness that we have in our communities, where like to even say hello to somebody is what you want,
right?
Like or it's more why you looking at me. That whole hatred. Like I saw so many different elements come out in this, and this the titles alone. This not a hip hop album. Look at the titles. No, it's about somebody. This is artwork. Right. Like this not what hip hop's supposed to be or rap is supposed to be.
No. That is what hip hop is supposed to be. That's just it lost. Not even gonna say hip hop lost its way because I think hip hop is pretty consistent. It's rap to me that has went left.
But why is it, and we're going to go off course, but why do we feel like it's gone left? Like, people
go ahead.
Because hip-hop and the root and the basis of hip-hop, that's the culture, and the culture is supposed to teach you, it's supposed to expand, it's supposed to help, it's valuable. Hip-hop is valuable. Rap, not so much. What's going on now is rap. Pop and Zans ain't helping nobody.
Right. But it's telling you what it is. It was no more than
hip hop has messages to me.
Right. Hip hop is the way you live. Rap is a thing you do.
I think y'all talking about the 80s.
No, it's really not.
It's really not.
Because that wasn't what all rap for the 90s and the early 2000s. That wasn't what rap was.
Rap is a Cheerios commercial. This is what we doing, and that's what we eating, and like that's rap. That's the stuff that they've taken. Anybody can do rap. Mr. Pete down the hall can do rap. Mm-hmm. Your guy in the cubicle beside you can do rap that get $10 burgers in a mason jar or whatever. He can do rap. That's rap. That's not hip hop. Hip hop is rooted in a culture, and any music that has an ear to the culture. That's what hip hop is.
But to say it has an ear to the culture would say that it's only whatever's positive. But that's
not true because
I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm saying that is what it sounds like is being said amongst people who kind of govern hip hop.
But doesn't hip hop always evolve?
I
think everything.
But it's about everybody
because it's new people out now that I feel like are hip hop that people would disagree with, like the dude XXXTentacion. I feel like he's hip hop a lot because older people not going to listen to that,
right.
and really listen to it. All they hear is what they hear sonically.
But what's this Kango Kid? Am I saying his name right?
Yeah.
He said that on a panel discussion at the Arthur's Expo. His generation was told by his parents, this ain't music.
Right.
Now his generation is telling their children, this ain't music. And I have an issue when you exclude people. And this is what is happening in the art community at large. I am telling you what my point of view is, what I feel my contribution is to art. And you're telling me that ain't art.
But don't you in art study
technique?
Okay. The technique is still rooted and grounded in the history of something. This rap music now, to me, there is no foundation.
It's about money. It's about being seen. Right. It's a whole different type of situation.
Was taught this in the 90s and the.
Right, and that's understandable, but that's still like it's what we bringing it back in. We bringing it back to, and that's fine. But no, but now it's because I listen to it all. Like I said, by me having a 15-year-old, I listen to a lot of the new stuff because I let him play whatever he want to play in the car. So I get a lot of the new stuff, and there's some stuff that he will not play for me because he no, what is this? What is this foolishness that you play? But I'm not like that with everything. He knows some of the new stuff I can get with. And to take it back to the Jay-Z album, like it is taking it back to a place where a message is given, and not even necessarily a positive message is it's a reflection of what's happening in his life. And I don't know what point I was trying to make. Like the 30 seconds got me.
So we're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back here on the Artist Exchange Radio Show with BeExposedRadio.com. And I see you eating outside of the bin, and it looks like it could be tasty. So we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Monty from Talk Lately. I want y'all to sit back and listen to this flashback. We be tripping.
I mean, really, but I mean, he might have. I got him maybe jacking her up.
The kids said he did it.
But this is Floyd Mayweather punching her head repeatedly, and like she doesn't have like brain damage.
No, she didn't have brain damage. I don't think he was hitting her like that. Or he probably was like, say something else. Say something else.
That
he probably wasn't like tagging her.
Right.
He probably was just like, and the kids was like, Daddy, Daddy, Daddy.
Why do they have the accent? Why? Why do his kids have the accent?
I just pictured them looking like African. Oh. I didn't want to have to admit that. I don't know what they're going to do about my mouth, but just check out the show every Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's more of the same right here on BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out this flashback from the Artist Exchange Radio Show. I'll let you speak on it. You know it better than I do.
All right, thank you, Nate. So the Say It Loud Film Festival is happening on April 16th, which is next Saturday from noon to 10 p.m. at nighttime. And we have partnered up with the No Boundaries Coalition. So I got to tell you the address real quick. It's 1947 Pennsylvania Avenue, which is where the Jubilee Arts Center is located. So we've partnered up with the No Boundaries Coalition, and the No Boundaries Coalition hosts an annual block party right there where we're going to be having the film festival. This is the 9th annual Boundary Block Party. And they are providing shuttle buses to take people to the voting booths because the Maryland primaries open on that same April 16th date that we're having the film festival and the block party. So we're going to be partnering up and promoting each other, and there's going to be these shuttle buses taking people to the voting booths to go vote. And we're going to have live music, live poetry, live dancing from a local high school, and then films start at 7 p.m. at nighttime. So that's basically what's going on for the Say It Loud Film Festival in West Baltimore.
Tune into the Artist Exchange every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m.
I know it's on. I gotta find it. I know that bitch talking about somebody. Oh my gosh, what you hear? Station.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Damn, YouTube won't shut me off. Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. They be tight with it. They be tight. Oh, we not giving Jay-Z our money from
right.
Bam. No, you won't. So welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Today, I wanted to do a recap of 444. I know everybody and their mother literally have already done reviews on his album, but I wanted to we have a nice cross section of people. We have the Amen Corner over here. Amen. We have Mr. Hollywood. We got
Miss Loud and Ratchet Hats. I know.
Trap Queen. We got her in the building. And then you got, Nate the Great over here. And it's just it's interesting to me, the people who had an issue with this album, it was more so him feeling as if him being far removed from who Jay-Z is. There is a group of individuals that don't want artists to evolve or grow.
I would say I see growth actually in Jay-Z.
Right, he has to.
Yeah.
Or he will be single. He wouldn't be with Beyonce because she probably made him get his life together before. All them charges would drop before they became public. That was purposefully. She wasn't doing that with her life. But I noticed even with Little Kim, like people have an issue with the new sound she has. Like she's a grown woman who's a mother now. Why would she be talking about? I mean, she's still gonna talk about nasty stuff and hood stuff. But her sound has to grow. As an artist, you can't be in a box. And if you stay in a box, you're not being true to your growth, your natural growth. You're trying to keep what we say is bad hip hop today. Part of the culture that's being grown today is bad because we don't see growth in it. We see a stale system that they realize this is a formula that works. So let's stay with this formula. And let's create this formula. And it is working because now we got gospel artists that's doing trap music. Yep. We got gospel country artists that is trying to cross over and pick up the sound. We just had Taylor Swift try to do a Lemonade album. Like
really?
What the?
Oh, you mean the whole story and?
Yeah.
Oh, I saw something about that. Yeah.
So everything is being influenced, and you know, once something is hot, now everybody is doing visuals like Lemonade. Every artist we see now wants this whole visual product that Lemonade did, but that's not a new phenomenon because we saw that with Michael Jackson in Thriller, like creating a motion picture. You know, so nothing is new under the sun, but it was just interesting to me, all the different opinions about this. And most of the people who hated on him or did not like this felt like this was watered down Jay-Z. This was so far removed. But what would almost billionaire Jay-Z talk about?
Right. I think even Cameron said he was involved in music, I believe. I forgot, I was on...
Cameron? You said Cameron?
Yeah.
Carmen?
Huh? What's his name?
Who you talking about? Pick a name, stick to it.
What did they say?
Yeah, right. Let's go with the message. What was the message?
He was talking about far as Jay-Z's music, far as him involved in his music. And a lot of artists think he's probably lashing out at him, and that's how they feel. But,
well, because he made, I know I've heard artists make, had an issue with his saying like, you got artists out here holding money up to your ear, we don't call that money over here, that line. Yeah, stuff like that, and they found that offensive. Well, that's because they was holding money up to their ear. I mean, like, if you wasn't holding money, he's not talking to you. And that doesn't mean that you don't have any money or you broke or I got more money than you. He's saying that we are supposed to now be, if you got that type of money, like you said, we're past that level of being flashy. Now, how about we invest in each other? He turned around and said, I wish I would be out here drinking Belvedere while Puffy got Ciroc. You know, that's encouraging one another, supporting one another.
And see, initially, this is the problem that I had with Jay-Z. Now, this is the problem I had because you did all of those things. And there was no educational system for these young people that are here now because you are one of the people that showed them that that is what is important. That's how you make a music video. You have all the flashy cars, the fly women, you know, the video vixen. You have all those things. And they have compartmentalize that into a formula to this is how I become an artist. And
he's showing them something else now.
But Boosie,
now he's showing them this. That was the problem that I had with it initially.
And Boosie was like, man, I don't care what you say, man. I'm a grown man.
Right. They was taking, they was.
If I want to go ahead and show my money, that's what I'm going to do. And he actually poured up.
But it was also artists that have been out for a while, still doing the same thing, still putting money up. So I don't think he was directing it to the younger ones versus the older ones. I think he's saying in general. But come on, Nate, that's no different from like use a parent-child relationship. Parents are going to tell the children, don't do what I did. I want you to be better than me. You know, so even if he did it.
Even in you saying that, I still see Big Pimpin' spending cheese on a yacht somewhere. And there's nothing wrong.
It's one of my favorite
as you grow and you mature, you realize, you know, yeah, that's good. And he don't own that yacht. He may own it now, but he didn't own it then.
And he just telling them, why you got that money, buy the yacht or buy the whatever.
And see, that's what kind of swayed me a little bit differently. And not so much a different viewpoint, but that's what made me want to really listen to his album more.
It's just, it's so funny to me that Jay-Z, like, I don't care. What's so funny to me, it's like, no. What's so funny to me is that Jay-Z has been culturally influential the whole time he's been out. He got people to stop wearing jerseys, you 30 plus, put on a button up. People stop wearing jerseys. Don't nobody walk around with no jerseys no more.
I don't know who was who CD was on, or if it was on everybody's, but when he did the one with him, Lil Wayne, it was a couple of them, and they all wore the tuxedos. It was like 4 rappers. Oh my goodness! Because I've never seen him. Jay-Z was the one that was doing a live band, the whole orchestras, everything he did. He went to the next level, and it wasn't it was grown man status.
And he you know, did the BMW, like they baby mama cars. He got people to stop driving them. He did a song where he was like fake Manolo boots straight from Steve Madden, and he got girls to stop wearing the boots that was fake. Like everything that he said, or things that he said, people gravitated and latched onto and did it. So why now that he's promoting growing up for real, like, all right, y'all, stop doing this dumb stuff, it's a problem?
Well, but for me, it's not an issue. But the individuals that this is their formula that they got from the old Jay-Z, the original Jay-Z, it's like, well, this is what you told me to do. They haven't been following him or watching him, but they're doing what it is. That's the form. That's what they saw. Right. When they were toddlers and children, they saw this on the TV. So this is what I want to do. Children only go as far as what they see. Because if you're telling me this, if you're you know, I can say my mom or dad at this point, you're my mom or my dad, and you're telling me stay in school, don't sleep around, XYZ, spend your money correctly. But I see Uncle Charlie, who really ain't my uncle, and every other man coming into your bedroom, or I see you sleeping around with every other woman, or you don't have a bank account because you can't get a bank account, or you're not doing. I see you doing something different than you telling me.
What you're saying right now, to me, I think that's what Jay-Z did. Because with Jay, what I'm saying is he did just what you said. He showed them one way. Right. He grew up. He's showing them the other way. But this CD is also explaining to them that I screwed up. Right. So I'm telling you now that I can tell you, don't do this because I already did it. I messed up for you. Why would I tell you or allow you to walk in the same footsteps that I did and make the mistake that I did? So it's not like as you're using a parent, they don't have a bank account because they couldn't have a bank account, or they telling you not to sleep around, but they bring it in Tom, Dick, and Harry with the conversation of don't be like me because you see what mommy going through, or you see what the conversation needs to take place with.
And that's the part where we're going to get to in the next segment.
Yes, we'll be right back. You are listening to the Artist Exchange Radio Show, powered by BeExposedRadio.com.
Check out this flashback of the Artist Exchange Radio Show on BeExposedRadio.com.
If you had a dream venue, where would that be? Like, some people want to do Carnegie Hall or like a big stadium somewhere.
I want to go with Madison Square. I wanna feel that building.
So you just gonna shoot for the moon.
I wanna feel it. I wanna look out and just feel the vibration of all of those people there to be uplifted and all of that, because that's what I want to do for people.
So are you dancing? Are you?
I want to implement that. I think I want to start doing some blocking, like not like tear it up, but just like a
little 1-2,
tell, a little, not voguing, but kind of the essence of it, very posy and hit the mark. Yeah, we're not trying to like bust out sweats.
So that means you don't have the dance gene in you.
I can dance.
Okay,
that's
not what I
was
doing.
I can dance, but I'm not, trying to get that. That's not my lane. I want to keep it really kind of a retro feel with like the new school with a retro feel. Like
okay. Little Banji Soul.
Yeah.
People gonna start using that.
Right. And they should.
Little Banji Soul. Yeah. But just mark it so people know, like, this was mine.
This where it came from. Because, people was queens out here now that was princesses last week. They was princesses before my album dropped. Now they queen or something. Like, pinky up.
I cannot. The Artist Exchange Radio Show every Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m., every Saturday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. Real artist, real talk, real live on BeExposedRadio.com.
driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit StopText.StopWreck.com.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
Welcome back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. I'm on BeExposedRadio.com. We know we all. You have that voice too.
I did.
You have your white. We call it the white lady. You have your white lady.
My name's Becky.
I can't.
That's Valley. That's a whole nother thing.
Right.
That's when you trying real hard.
You put on your representative. You are listening to. You're listening to the Artist Exchange Radio Show only on BeExposedRadio.com.
See, you're not even feeling like yourself today. So at some point, y'all got to switch back because he hasn't even done his age.
Oh, yeah.
I am your host, Couser.
We back on?
We have Sweet Baby. Right, that's why I just took it over. We have Sweet Baby.
Hey, y'all.
And our co-host, Mr. Hollywood.
Hey, how y'all doing out there?
It don't even sound real no more. No.
You're not supposed to be on this side. We ain't doing this
no more. And we have Mr. And we have Miss Love Dawn.
How y'all doing?
That's where her mind goes. That's why.
I'm sorry.
That's why she has her boobs out, because she's trying to pick up somebody up at the Comedy Factory.
Who's trying to pick somebody up?
You trying to get somebody at the Comedy Factory?
I am. My sisters, and then I was like, I'm home.
The lies.
I'm grown. I'm as a grown.
What does that mean?
Woman.
Yes, I
so
mean.
if I want to do, I can do whatever it is that I want to do because I'm as grown.
She's from Essex. That's why she talks like that.
From where?
Essex.
No, baby.
Like that. So today we're going over our opinions and the conversation from. This all stemmed from me watching the interview, the New York Times interview on Jay-Z. And it was a 36 minute interview that they did on him. I'm quite sure it was longer than that, but they cut it down to 35 minutes. And I got to hear a lot of who he was and him explain a lot of the songs that he had. We went through and kind of gave what songs that kind of stuck out to you all?
Kill Jay-Z.
Kill Jay-Z.
444 is also one of my favorite ones.
The title track.
Yes, the title track. Smile, is that what it's called? The song with his mother. Yeah. I love that.
But that's not the first time he's written a song for his mother, but that was the most he came out, so to speak.
Yeah.
But it was him. His mother was out. It was,
he came out
he admitted it. That was, keep going.
I really like the Moonlight. I really like the whole album really, but those are some of my favorite ones.
I think Legacy for me was
Marcy. I'm going through the I'm just going through the list. That oh my goodness, yeah, everything.
Those songs kind of stuck out to me because it told the most about what he wanted versus where he was from. Like you've been hearing where he's from this whole time, but the Smile song, that kind of like it says a lot about him as a family person. You know, he's showing more of his family side versus, you know, the business, the bravado, the myth of who he really is. But it really shows where he wants to go. And just the idea of what has been happening to us, where people build these companies and all their children are at leadership roles, or the company is left to them. It says a lot about family structure. That takes planning. That takes me having to think about your grandchildren's great-grandchildren's grandchildren versus I gotta get this together right now. Like, you thinking for the moment, and you're not thinking, because when you start looking down the road, your decisions right now become better. And if you're just thinking about, I gotta eat right now, you ain't thinking about 10 years from now.
Right.
And 10 years from now, your child will have to go work at McDonald's, just the same way you did. If your child is following in your steps, the struggles, the ups and downs, you ain't doing your job as a parent. I'm sorry.
When you say that,
I know we got parents in the room, but I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I get out when you say that. I always think about when they say looking down the road. You know that game used to play, like the maze game, And I used to, when you're younger, when you were younger and you were playing the maze game, you just take your pencil and you draw around the maze. I mean, you're in a maze, and because you can hit a dead end. So you got to go back and erase and start all over. So that's why you use a pencil. But anyway, most youth, before you mature, you are just taking your pencil and you just writing on the paper. I couldn't get it out.
Hit that bell. Whoa,
sorry.
Wait a minute.
You are. Listen, you're writing on the paper until you hit a dead end. But as you get older, and the more that you do this, you realize that before I make a move, I need to look at where it is that I'm going, because your end all is to try to get out of this maze. But if you just start to make maneuver,
get out
without looking at the end of wherever you want, then you will be at this all day. And I always equate that to what you're saying as far as making different moves and not looking at the full picture. And we do that a lot as especially in our middle ages of
we're looking at one snapshot opposed to
we just moving. I want to get out and I'm just moving. And instead of taking your time and stop, make a move, look around, look at the long haul. Look, is this the right move for me? Instead of keep going, gotta keep erase and start all over again. So,
and that makes that's ultimately what I got. Aside from the comparison that I made in the beginning, I'm a supporter of the I was about to say the elevator speech, but the stoop, or what you call it, the town hall meetings that Bill Cosby was having, because I got to go to those meetings and hear questions and ask questions actually, and hear responses. So I say that because I just think he had the right intention. He was just talking to the wrong group of individuals. He should have went to the nursing homes. He should have went to the retirement centers. He should have went to places where Melba's, places like that. He should have went to institutions where people in his age range were, because the problem needed to be fixed backwards from his perspective.
But
whereas on somebody like Jay-Z,
what would he be saying to his generation? What exactly?
The same thing he was saying to. He was talking to a lot of Bill Cosby went around the country talking to college students.
Right.
Telling them the significance and importance of their education, telling them the significance and importance to them being fathers. But the problem did not start with them. Something happened between our parents' generation and their parents' generations. That's where the ball was dropped.
Right. So I'm saying that going to the older people, that's not going to get the message across.
So but that time he should have went to them?
Yeah, when he was going around the country, that's the population he should have been speaking to.
The Melba's crew.
Right.
The aunties and the uncles.
He should have been going to those large meetings and such, talking to them, because at their generation, it should have been about repairing relationships and repairing burnt bridges.
Telling them to go back to their instead of him going directly to
the youth, which he was so disconnected from.
Right. He skipped over the bridge. He didn't use the link between the old people and the young people.
Right. He should have went back to them, whereas though I could be repairing this relationship with my child and my grandchild and my great grandchild. Whereas though Jay-Z is talking to a generation that is connected, where he's in at least the range of who he is and who he's talking to.
And he's still relevant. Like, no shade, but Bill Cosby wasn't relevant no more when he was doing, Bill Cosby. He'll always be relevant, but what are you doing, Bill Cosby, but this?
Trying to buy CBS.
No, but see, that's the problem, because the idea of what relevant is to the person that I'm in the range of. So he's still relevant because he's still giving money and still.
I don't mean he's irrelevant. I mean to the point, socially. Generation. I mean socially, in his field and what he do, what Bill Cosby is known for his comedy and his acting and all of that stuff. Yeah, he's a philanthropist. That's cool. Most people are, like Jay-Z is too. But Jay-Z is still acting in his prime, he's still acting in what he is supposed to be, is what his purpose is. Bill Cosby wasn't. Ain't nobody trying to listen to you.
No, but see, and that's the problem. Your generation or that generation did not have to listen to him, because he was living in the results of his hard work. What Jay-Z is building his way, because in a couple years, people are going to say the same thing about Jay-Z.
And Jay-Z Jay-Z smart enough to have done it now before it's before that time came.
But see, it's not about being smart enough, because somebody like Jay-Z learned their lesson from a Bill Cosby. I need to speak to my generation where I'm at as I'm building.
He even said in one of these songs about Bill Cosby and Al Sharpton, like, y'all need to chill. You missed the boat. Go and sit down. Put your feet up.
And that's my point exactly. That's exact point that I'm trying to make. It was just to the wrong.
That's what I'm saying. They're no longer relevant in what they doing. Al Sharpton ain't even relevant in what he's doing no more.
He'll always, to me, he'll always be America's Dad. I think that he has sealed his position. And even if you go, I literally went to Google, and you know that, and you put in, America's Dad, Bill Cosby is going to come up. I think his position is sealed. So I think relevance will remain. Now, for what? Because of, the different things,
right.
But I think that he is just not as impressionable on the younger generation as, like you said, Jay-Z.
It was the wrong population.
People that go out and stop wearing certain things and so forth. So they're going to hear what Jay-Z say. Like you say, he understand the lingo. They understand the struggle. They're going to hear what Jay-Z say. They're not going to hear
because he's irrelevant to them. Like, that's his relevance is not don't nobody care what Bill Cosby talking about at this point. Like, that's not to sound disrespectful.
To a generation of people. Yeah, if you're under 40, no, he's not relevant to you. But this man has made it possible for there to be shows like Black.
And that's not, and I understand that, but I'm saying he's not acting in that anymore, which affects his relevance to the generation right now, is what I'm saying. Y'all are taking the word relevance and making it something else. But what I'm saying is that he's irrelevant to whatever his craft is. He's a philanthropist. He's giving his money. He's going out. He's speaking. He's doing whatever it is he got to do. He's raping women and drugging them back in the day, talking about that and getting off on that. That's what his relevance is now. That's what the culture is about with him now.
But see, the reason that word is strange to me, the way a generation now uses it, because his relevancy is still what it is. It is what it is.
I disagree.
No more than Eric B. and Rakim.
I disagree. Michael Jordan is no longer relevant. Don't nobody care what Michael Jordan talking about no more. Cause he ain't like.
A problem.
It's not a problem. That's just how stuff go. It's a problem when they coming back trying to talk to you about what you should and shouldn't be doing. Nobody want to hear what you have. For somebody to try to speak to people and be an influence, you have to be actively doing what it is that you're doing. You have to actively be acting in your relevance. I feel like. Don't nobody want to hear you. You washed up at this point. I don't care. Nobody care what.
So if you pretty much like you're saying, if you're not really pretty much doing what you're saying.
Yeah.
No, but that's the problem. That's the problem that I have.
I don't want to hear nobody washed up trying to tell me nothing. Go sit down somewhere.
Because it's not so much that they aren't actively. At some point, I don't want to have to work as an artist. I want to be able to live in the work that I've been able to put out there, and that's the dream.
And that's understandable.
They fail to realize that is the dream that we have.
That's the dream, and he's doing it. So keep giving your money to the schools and keep doing your thing in that way and living in your work.
About that,
because he came back. Because I'm not angry at the fact that he had the ability to do it. He's trying to tell people, "Oh, you this because your pants down, and you this because you're that, and you're on the street corner." And they like, "Yo, what is you talking about? Chill."
My explanation for that, I'm saying it was the wrong generation. He, in his mind, what he and what I take from it, and all the times that I got him to speak, I got to hear him speak. He was speaking to the wrong population of people. He should have, because
he wasn't relevant to them.
No, it wasn't. But it was the wrong population of people he was talking to. Jay-Z is in a prime position right now because he could have went left and got Hollywood and been so disconnected from the relevancy of the people that he's
right, and then he would.
I don't think it should be a problem.
I have a question because I don't know all the ins and outs.
Right.
When he went to these schools to speak, was it mandated that people come hear him speak?
It was a choice. It was always a town hall meeting. It wasn't anything that he was. People were paying to come see.
So then the relevance to the people he was speaking to remained.
Right, because they chose to come to see it.
They showed up. So they were. Now his message going out to people made the youth may not feel like it was more. So that's no different with the youth. Don't want to hear what their parents got to say. That don't make them any less relevant. They just don't want to hear it.
Y'all are missing. Y'all are hanging on to this word relevant. So I see that I need to stop using that because y'all are misconstruing my point.
No, it's
by
not.
Using the word relevance. Y'all are because you're not changing my point of view. Y'all are being hung up on this word relevance and y'all are right. And I'm telling you that y'all are not that. And in turn, that misconstrues my point. Because I'm not saying that he's pointless, like don't nobody want to hit. Yeah, but his cultural relevance is not the same as it was in the 80s, in the 90s. It's not. It's not. Like, I don't care what else y'all, like, I understand what y'all are saying, but his cultural relevance, not his relevance as an artist, as a human being, as a granddad, it's none of that. His cultural relevance is not the same as it was 20, 30 years ago.
Group of people, it's not. It's not. But a lot of people who grew up on his show that really valued his point of view, we do see him as relevant. We do see him as valuable because without him breaking that ceiling, a lot of these shows would have taken another 10
Right now, Bill Cosby is not culturally relevant. Right now. I'm not talking about his legacy. I'm not talking about what he did, what barriers he broke, or what ceilings he lifted, or none of that. His shows, his comedy, none of that. Right now, presently, he's not culturally relevant.
So why aren't any of those things relevant?
I'm not saying it's irrelevant. He is not culturally relevant in this point in time right now, period.
I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. Like, right now, during this time, like you said, pretty much during this generation, like, he's, like, what's the point? Like, who's Bill Cosby? Like,
yeah, that's it. No disrespect.
Saying, like,
because the generation right now is saying the same thing about Jay-Z.
Even during this time, it's some people that's Bill Cosby still relevant too. So, like, okay, yeah, I still want to hear him. I still want to hear him speak. I still want to hear what he has to say. You know, he still has a message. So those for that people. So I can see what you're saying. I can see what you're saying. So
it is. I mean, it's the same.
Not relevant to some people they are.
And you have a choice as to what is relevant to you. Like,
culturally speaking, in this period of time right now, Bill Cosby is not culturally relevant.
But that word, but you have to break down what both of those definitions is. Culture is just who you're living around. Culture is just
right now, the here and now. We need to come back. Like the 30-second mark was up like a minute ago. So you're listening to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. We'll be right back after these messages. Don't leave because we're going to get right back into it.
Ooh, it's getting hot in here.
It's not, but I just think people need to understand what those definitions.
Last time on Talk Lately.
He don't have Down syndrome.
Man killed after being shot in Charm City Circulator. That's dark. It says a 26-year-old man was killed after being shot on the Charm Circulator bus Wednesday afternoon. Police. Oh, that was last Wednesday. Okay, good. It wasn't dark. He did that. His shooting was on Saturday. Police found the victim who had been shot in the stomach at 2:50 p.m. at the bus on the 200 block of South Broadway and Gulf Street.
So he was on
It is over
bus.
east.
Yeah, it's the one that's coming from John Hopkins.
Police believe the suspect and victim argued, then got onto the bus. The bus was still stopped when the shooting occurred.
1 minute.
The suspect wearing a black hoodie, black pants, black shoes, white soles. Matt. I know that was that mastermind down there. I heard somebody go look for mastermind. Hello?
At that point, it's time to go for a break.
Okay, we'll be right back.
Live every Tuesday at 7 p.m. only on
This
the
the man that
Exposed
holds
Radio.
it down. Mr. Showtime, D the Boss. Check us out every Saturday, 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on BigExposedRadio.com.
So yeah, people that gravitate towards the simple fact that they just sit around and look at your comments and look at what you post on Facebook or social media for that matter, and they see the videos and they see the messages and they quickly assume that it's about them. But people understand this, that there are 50 billion more people in this world other than your goddamn self. So it's not everybody is going to be talking about you. And I know quite few people. And I said that to you.
You are listening to BeExposedRadio.com.
It's not.
So
if she was to come out
welcome
now,
back to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. We're here back live. We're doing a recap of what 444, Jay-Z's new album, was to each of us, and we're kind of discussing cultural relevancy. We're kind of depicting. Right now we're debating relevancy and what that means culturally. We're debating what that means culturally to individuals, and I want us all to understand what that word means, especially cultural relevancy, because your culture is the people that you are around. It's not a body of people. It's not the whole world. It's not the whole city. It's not the whole state, because a culture is right here. This is a culture right here, and it's made up of different points of views and different perspectives. And I want people to understand what cultural relevancy is from the eye of the beholder, no more than art, whether it's good or bad. And I really want us to get out of the space where if somebody ain't hot or popping, they not important. Because their body of work has made
that's
it
not to say that they not important though, and because you changing my words from what I'm saying. I'm not saying Bill Cosby ain't important. Bill Cosby is important. Bill Cosby is America's dad. Bill Cosby is putting the pudding in the pudding pops. Bill Cosby done had shows. Bill Cosby done paid for people to go through college. It's all types of scholarships. It's all types of this and that. I'm not saying he's not important at period. I'm not saying that. I never said that once, that Bill Cosby wasn't important. Of course he's important. I still watch The Cosby Show. It's a classic. He had shows after that. He's laid the foundation for a different world and all of the people that came from that. He's laid the foundation for Malcolm Jamal Warner and all the stuff that he's done from then and there. Malcolm Jamal Warner ain't relevant. It's not to say that what he's done ain't important. He's not important to the here and now. His body of work, yes, it's relevant. It's important. Him coming out saying stuff about what people are doing now, he ain't in it now. So we don't care what you got to say about it. Jay-Z's still in it.
But that's the same argument that we make about people being on the front line. Like, if you ain't
in it, shut up.
But the people who made it possible for you to say that I'm on the front line or I'm a part of.
Then sit back. That's when you get to the point where you said that as an artist, sit back. That's when you sit back and you enjoy the fruits of your labor and you let somebody else do that. It's time for him to sit back and enjoy the fruits of his labor.
That's dangerous.
But you just now said it. You said it on the last. You said it before the last break that was the whole point in doing what you do so that eventually you can sit back and let people live. You just said that.
But you don't get to make that choice for me, though. That's a decision I decide. I'm ready to retire.
Right, but I'm just saying that this is where I'm not saying that he can't. I'm saying that this is where the lashback, the setbacks come from, because we still talking about Cosby. This is where, like him trying to be a part of hip hop culture. You can't. He was telling people to pull their pants up and this and that, and you can't do this, and he was telling people what they can and can't do. And no, it's not for him.
That's what the headline said. That was the headlines, and I got to, because of being on the SVA at Coppin, I got to really travel and see a couple different conversations, because he was working with Tom Joyner for a moment when they were going around and they were giving out the scholarships for HBCUs. And the conversation wasn't about him trying to put himself in what was happening. It was him. His main objective was to make sure more black men matriculated through the college system. That was his main point and agenda for doing that around the country tour. That was his main objective. But it wasn't about him trying to insert himself. And I don't think people like him were trying to insert themselves into a hip-hop culture, because he understood that's not the music I listen to. That's not the groove that I'm in. But me being this person who gets to sit in music, not music, but in boardrooms and get to sit on decision-making boards and so on and so forth, I hear how they are talking about you. They're not hiring you because you look this way. They're not doing X, Y, Z because this is how you're presenting yourself. You as fathers, need to be more present in your children's life. I don't think anything he said was irrelevant. I think what he was talking
to the African American male.
But my only agreement with the relevancy part, he was speaking to the wrong generation of people. Because this message that he was given should have been coming from a father or uncle or grandfather. It should not be coming from Bill Cosby to that population.
That's all I was saying. So we've been saying the same thing this whole time, but because I was saying the word relevance, I was getting.
But his relevancy
told I was wrong.
Should have been to an older generation that needed to go back and repair a lot of burnt bridges that they had. So on that note, we're gonna come back. We're gonna go to a break real quick. Oh no, this is the last segment.
This is the last segment, y'all.
So tomorrow,
tonight. Oh wait a minute, real quick.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna give you time. So tomorrow. Tune into the Artist Exchange Radio Show. We're going to be here with our guest co-host, Mr. TJ Transvision. We have a couple visual artists coming through. So definitely stay locked in, stay tuned in for that. We'll have more of this conversation. And our last show is next week. So keep your calendars locked in. Put it on your agenda. Next Friday, the 15th, is our last show. We have a couple surprise guests that are coming through. It's going to be a nice occasion, so definitely stay tuned, stay locked in for that. Anybody, Love Dawn, tell us when your show coming on real quick.
Every Thursday at 8 p.m.
Seconds, that's it.
Every Thursday at 8 p.m. Your question was tell me when the show come on. Yep. I would love for y'all to tune in and check out our show whenever you get the opportunity. I appreciate any type of support. Thank you ever so much.
Damonn, you have a play coming up?
Yes. We have a stage play, The Wire, which is coming out in January.
I saw that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. I will be part of.
There you go.
I will be part of Avon's crew. I'm playing Delroy.
Hey.
So it's gonna be real dope. You know, from all the rehearsals and everything. I'm loving it. So it's gonna be pretty cool. Also, I'm gonna be also coming live from the Harlem Globetrotters tomorrow at the Royal Farms Arena.
Okay.
And also, shout out to TJ. Somebody actually was like, yeah, because this guy, his name is like Trance or something, and his artwork is really dope, and I want to buy a piece. I'm like, what you mean, do I know him? Yes, I do know him. We do a show together. So that was a nice little moment. Shout out to TJ Transvision. And tonight, like, if you want to get, because I debates. Y'all heard me debate. If you want some more of this tonight, come out to 823 East Baltimore Street, Nas vs. Jay-Z debate, trivia, game night. And I'm being told to wrap it up. So you have been listening to the Artist Exchange Radio Show. Thank you for tuning in. Tune in tomorrow at 12 o'clock. We will be here only on BeExposedRadio.com.
Next up, It Is What It Is Radio Show. We'll be out.
Hi, I'm LeVar Burton, and I'm proud to be a book person. How do I choose a book? Sometimes it's the cover, sometimes it's the title. I guess I'm pretty visual. If a book's really impressing me and the writing is really good, I will peek and see what the last paragraph is, because the endings of books should rock you. I am a book person, and if you're a book person too, read to a child and spark a lifetime of ambition. Join